Commander James Walker stood tall in the center of the Galactic Council chamber, his blue uniform crisp and neat despite the long journey from Earth. Around him, the massive circular hall rose up like a giant bowl, filled with thousands of alien representatives from across the galaxy. Their whispers and quiet laughter echoed off the crystal walls. "You expect us to believe," the High Speaker of the Ancient One said, his silver skin gleaming under the chamber's lights, "that your species, barely 500 years into space travel, has mastered seventh-dimensional engineering." His voice dripped with amusement, and more laughter rippled through the chamber. Walker kept his face neutral, though his jaw tightened slightly. "We don't expect you to believe, High Speaker. We're here to inform the Council of our achievement and request permission for a public demonstration." This brought even louder laughter. A representative of the Shell Collective, their crystalline body catching the light, leaned forward. "Your species still uses chemical rockets for planetary travel. We watched your first stumbling steps to your own moon. The idea that you've surpassed even fifth-dimensional travel is..." They paused, clicking their crystal appendages together in their species' version of a chuckle, entertaining. "The Shell Collective speaks truth," another voice called out. "Even we, the Ancient Ones, after 50,000 years of space travel, have only mastered fifth-dimensional technology. The energy requirements alone for seventh-dimensional travel would tear your primitive vessels apart." Walker pulled out a small device from his pocket. With a click, a hologram appeared above his palm, showing the massive form of the Infinity Edge in its orbital dock around Neptune. The chamber grew quieter as the alien studied the ship's strange design. 3 months from today," Walker said, his voice clear and firm, "humanity will demonstrate the Infinity Edge's capabilities in the Horsehead Nebula's neutral space. All council members are invited to observe." The High Speaker's silver face rippled with what might have been concern, but it quickly changed to dismissive amusement. "Very well, Commander. The Council accepts your invitation. It has been some time since we've had such entertaining diversions." As Walker turned to leave, he heard one of the Ancient Ones whisper to another, "Should we be concerned?" The reply came with a laugh. "About these primitives. They still fight wars over frozen water and underground fuel. Let them have their moment of imagination." Back on his ship, Walker found Dr. Anna Reed waiting in the communication room. Her hologram flickered slightly as she transmitted from Neptune's shipyard. "How did it go?" she asked, though his expression already told her the answer. "Exactly as we expected," Walker replied, sitting down heavily in his chair. "They think we're either lying or delusional." Reed's hologram smiled. "Good. The more they underestimate us, the better. The final calibrations are almost complete. You should see what the Infinity Edge did in our last test. We sent a probe through 7-dimensional layers and..." "Save it for when I get back," Walker interrupted with a small smile. "These walls might have ears." Some of the younger species looked a bit too interested in our announcement. "Worried about spies." "Always. The Ancient Ones didn't rule space for 50,000 years by being careless. They're arrogant, yes, but not stupid." Reed nodded, her hologram flickering again. "Well, let them spy. They won't understand what they're seeing anyway. We approached the dimensional problem from such a different angle that their sensors won't even know what to look for." Walker leaned back in his chair, looking out at the stars through his ship's window. 3 months, Anna. 3 months, and we'll show them that humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology." "Oh." Reed raised an eyebrow. "What is it then?" "Our ability to think differently. While they've spent millennia trying to brute force their way through dimensions, we stepped back and found another way entirely." He smiled. "Let them laugh now. In 3 months, the galaxy's going to change forever." As his ship broke orbit from the Council world, Walker watched several alien vessels quickly turn away, pretending they hadn't been scanning his small craft. "Let them look," he thought. "Let them search for secrets they couldn't understand. In 3 months, the laughter would stop, and the galaxy would learn that humanity's greatest achievement had come not from copying what had been done before, but from daring to think the impossible. The Infinity Edge hung in space like a dream made real. Its hull didn't follow the usual shapes of spacecraft. Instead of being long and straight, it curved in impossible ways, sections of the ship seeming to fade in and out of reality. From Neptune's orbital shipyard, it looked like a giant silver whale swimming through an ocean of stars. Dr. Anna Reed pressed her hand against the observation window, her breath fogging the glass. Even after 3 years of working on the project, the sight still filled her with wonder. "Beautiful, isn't it?" a voice said behind her. She turned to find Commander Walker, just returned from the council meeting. He looked tired but determined. "James, how was your trip through the lion's den?" She gestured at the massive ship outside. "While you were getting laughed at, we made some fascinating breakthroughs." They walked together through the station's corridors, their footsteps echoing on the metal floor. Through every window they passed, different angles of the Infinity Edge came into view. "Show me," Walker said. Reed led him to the main control room, where dozens of screens displayed complex equations and energy readings. She pulled up a hologram of the ship's core system. "Look here," she said, pointing to a swirling pattern in the center. Traditional dimensional travel tries to punch through space-time like a nail through wood. That's why the ancient ones got stuck at the 5th dimension. The energy required for their brute force method grows exponentially. Walker nodded, watching as she manipulated the hologram. "And we do it differently. Completely differently. Instead of fighting against dimensional barriers, she paused, searching for simple words, we sort of slide between them. Think of it like this. The aliens are trying to break down a wall with a hammer, while we found a hidden door. The hologram changed to show energy patterns around the ship. The Infinity Edge doesn't force its way through dimensions. It exists in a state of quantum uncertainty, using mathematical paradoxes to confuse reality itself." A young engineer rushed in, holding a tablet. "Dr. Reed, the latest test results are in. The dimensional field is stable at all 7 layers." Reed grabbed the tablet, her eyes scanning the numbers quickly. A big smile spread across her face. "James, look at this. We didn't just make a door between dimensions. We made a ship that can exist in all of them at once." Walker studied the results, though most of the technical details were beyond him. "Will it be ready in time?" "Oh, it's ready now," Reed said confidently. "We could demonstrate today if we had to. The next 3 months are just for triple-checking everything. I want this to be perfect when we show those laughing aliens what humanity can do." They walked to another observation point, this one closer to the ship. From here, they could see the construction crews finishing work on the outer hull, their spacesuits tiny against the massive vessel. "How did we do it?" Walker asked softly. "How did we get so far ahead of species that have been traveling space since before we invented the wheel?" Reed thought for a moment. "Because we're young," she said finally. "The ancient ones and their friends, they've been doing things the same way for thousands of years. They stopped looking for new answers because they thought they knew everything. But humans," she smiled, "humans are curious. We ask questions. We look at problems from new angles. Most importantly, we're not afraid to be wrong." A loud alarm suddenly rang through the station. Reed quickly checked her tablet. "Don't worry, just a standard safety test. We do them every hour." Walker watched as sections of the Infinity Edge shimmered, parts of it seemingly vanishing before reappearing. "How many test flights has it done?" 27 short jumps within our solar system, each one perfect." Reed's voice filled with pride. "Want to know the best part? The alien sensors watching us have no idea what they're seeing. Their dimensional detection equipment only works on their brute force method. Our ship's quantum state approach is invisible to them." "Good," Walker smiled. "Let them keep guessing. In 3 months, they'll learn that humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology. It's our ability to think differently. Above them, The Infinity Edge continued its silent dance between dimensions, humanity's impossible dream made real, waiting for its moment to change the galaxy forever. Michael Torres didn't like what he was seeing on his security screens. As head of security for the Infinity Edge project, he had learned to trust his instincts over his 10 years of service. Right now, those instincts were screaming that something was wrong. "Run that footage again," he told his assistant. The screen showed a maintenance worker checking the ship's outer hull, normal enough except for one thing. The worker's movements were too smooth, too perfect. "Got you," Torres whispered, freezing the image. He zoomed in on the worker's helmet reflection. Instead of a human face, a shimmer of silver skin could be seen. "Sound the alert. We have infiltrators." Alarms blared throughout Neptune's orbital shipyard. Torres grabbed his tablet and ran towards the command center, his boots clanging against the metal floor. When he burst through the doors, Commander Walker and Dr. Reed were already there. "Report," Walker demanded. "Ancient Ones," Torres said, bringing up the security footage. "They're using some kind of advanced holographic disguise. We've caught 3 so far, all posing as maintenance crew." Reed's face paled. "Where were they found?" "Near the dimensional core housing." Torres pulled up a map of the ship. "They were trying to place some kind of device here, and here." Red dots appeared on the blueprint. "If those points had been sabotage," Reed said, her voice shaking slightly, "the dimensional field would have collapsed during activation. The ship would have torn itself apart." Walker's jaw tightened. "How many more might be out there?" "Unknown, sir, but we're implementing Protocol Dark Mirror. Every worker on the project is being scanned for holographic signatures." Torres brought up another screen showing security teams moving through the shipyard. "We're also checking all work done in the past week for tampering." "They're scared," Reed said suddenly. Both men turned to look at her. "Think about it. The Ancient Ones wouldn't risk such obvious espionage unless they're truly frightened of what we've created." A young security officer rushed in. "Sir, we found these in the infiltrator's possession." He placed 3 small crystal devices on the table. They pulsed with a faint blue light. Reed picked one up carefully. "Fascinating. These aren't just sabotage devices, they're data collectors. They weren't just trying to destroy the Infinity Edge. They wanted to steal its secrets." "Can they?" Walker asked. Reed laughed. "No. These scanners are designed to detect fifth-dimensional energy patterns. Our ship operates on completely different principles. It would be like trying to measure temperature with a speedometer." Torres watched as more reports came in on his screens. "We found 2 more infiltrators. They were hiding in the cargo bay." "But, sir," he hesitated, "I don't think they were Ancient Ones. These ones had crystalline bodies." "The Shell Collective," Walker growled. "They're working together." "Not just them," Torres said, bringing up more security feeds. "We're detecting at least 3 different species among the infiltrators. They're desperate to stop us." Walker stood silent for a moment, then smiled. "Good." "Good?" Torres asked, surprised. "Yes, good, because it means we've already won." Walker walked to the window, looking out at the massive form of the Infinity Edge. "They wouldn't be trying to sabotage us if they still thought we were lying. They know we've done it. They know we've achieved what they couldn't." Reed joined him at the window. "What are your orders, Commander?" "Double the security, triple it if necessary. But most importantly," he turned to face them, "leak some information." "Sir?" Torres asked, confused. "Nothing real, nothing important, but let them think they've discovered something. Let them think their spies succeeded." Reed's eyes lit up with understanding. "Feed them false data about how we achieved 7th-dimensional travel. Let them waste time chasing the wrong solution." "Exactly," Walker smiled. "Let them focus on copying what they think we did. Meanwhile, we'll finish what we actually did." Torres nodded, already drafting new security protocols on his tablet. Above them, the Infinity Edge continued its silent vigil, its impossible shape a testament to human ingenuity. Let them try to steal its secrets, he thought. They were looking for answers in the wrong dimension entirely. The Horsehead Nebula blazed against the darkness of space, its red and purple clouds creating a perfect backdrop for what was about to happen. Thousands of alien ships hung in space, their crews waiting to witness what they expected to be humanity's greatest embarrassment. On the bridge of the Infinity Edge, Commander Walker stood with his hands clasped behind his back. The massive viewing window showed the gathered alien fleet, their ships ranging from the crystal pyramids of the Shell Collective to the living metal spheres of the Ancient Ones. "Status report," Walker said quietly. Dr. Reed's fingers danced across her control panel. "All systems nominal. Dimensional core is stable. The sabotage attempts actually helped us. We found and fixed 3 minor flaws while checking for tampering." "Security status?" Walker asked. Torres spoke from his station. "We're being scanned by every ship out there. As expected, they're looking for fifth-dimensional energy signatures. They still don't understand what we're about to do." A communication light blinked on the main console. The silver face of the high speaker appeared on screen, his expression smug. "Commander Walker, your 3 months have ended. We are all here to witness your demonstration." Quiet laughter could be heard in the background. Walker smiled. "Thank you for coming, High Speaker. Dr. Reed, begin the sequence." Reed nodded, her hand steady as she initiated the startup process. The Infinity Edge hummed to life, but not with the usual roar of engines that the alien observers expected. Instead, the ship seemed to sing, a strange melody that made the very fabric of space vibrate in harmony. "What trickery is this?" the High Speaker demanded. "Our sensors detect no dimensional field activation." "Of course not," Reed muttered under her breath as she worked. "You're looking for a hammer. We built a key." The space around the Infinity Edge began to change. It wasn't dramatic at first, just a slight shimmer, like heat waves rising from hot pavement. But then reality itself seemed to bend. The ship wasn't breaking through dimensions. It was sliding between them, existing in multiple states at once. "Impossible," someone shouted over the open channel. "Their power readings are barely registering. They should need at least 1,000 times more energy for dimensional travel." Walker turned to Reed. "Show them what humanity can do, Doctor." Reed pressed a final sequence of commands. The Infinity Edge didn't vanish with a flash or tear a hole in space. Instead, it gracefully stepped sideways through reality. One moment it was there, the next it existed in 7-dimensional states simultaneously. Through the ship's special viewing systems, the crew could see the alien vessels from multiple dimensional angles. Some looked like frozen sculptures, others like liquid metal flowing through time. The aliens' mighty ships, advanced as they were, seemed simple and primitive from this new perspective. "Take us on a tour," Walker ordered. The Infinity Edge moved, not forward or backward, up or down, but in directions that normal space couldn't contain. It appeared behind the alien fleet, then above it, then somehow inside its own shadow. Each movement defied the laws of physics as the aliens understood them. "How?" The High Speaker's voice cracked with shock. "Our sensors. This is beyond anything. You can't." "But we did," Walker said calmly. "Humanity looked at the universe differently. While you tried to force your way through dimensions, we learned to dance between them." Reed's console showed readings that made her smile with pride. "Commander, we're maintaining dimensional stability at all 7 layers. We could keep this up for months with our current power levels." The alien ships hung motionless in space. The laughter had stopped. In its place was a silence filled with awe and fear. Humanity hadn't just matched their technology. They had surpassed it in ways the aliens hadn't even imagined possible. "This concludes our demonstration," Walker announced to the stunned audience. "Humanity looks forward to peaceful cooperation with all species who wish to explore the true nature of our universe together." The Infinity Edge gracefully slid back into normal space, its hull gleaming in the light of the nebula. But now everyone watching knew the truth. This vessel wasn't just a ship. It was proof that humanity had changed the rules of the game forever. In the hours following the demonstration, chaos erupted across the gathered alien fleet. The Infinity Edge remained stationed near the Horsehead Nebula, receiving a flood of transmissions from various species. Inside the ship's main conference room, Commander Walker sat with Dr. Reed and Michael Torres, watching multiple holographic displays of alien reactions. The Ancient Ones scientists are having a collective breakdown, Torres reported, monitoring the communications. They've been trying to replicate our energy readings for the past 3 hours. One of them keeps screaming, "It's not possible," over and over. Reed smiled as she brought up more technical data. They still don't understand. Look at these scans they're sending us. She pointed to a complex graph. They're detecting less than 1% of what we're actually doing because they're using fifth-dimensional sensors to observe seventh-dimensional effects. A new message flashed on the main screen. The high speaker's silver face appeared, his usual arrogance replaced by barely concealed desperation. "Commander Walker, the Council requests." "No, the Council begs for an explanation. How can your ship exist in multiple dimensional states without tearing itself apart? The power requirements alone should be impossible." Walker finished for him. "Only if you try to force your way through dimensions. We found another way." "Show them," Reed whispered. Walker nodded. Reed activated a simplified hologram of the Infinity Edge's dimensional drive. "Your civilizations tried to punch holes through dimensional barriers," she explained to the high speaker. "Imagine trying to break through a wall with a hammer. More dimensions meant thicker walls, requiring exponentially more energy." The hologram changed, showing the ship's actual method. "We instead learned to slide between the cracks that already exist in reality. We don't break through dimensions, we exist between them, using quantum uncertainty principles that your civilizations never explored." The high speaker's face shifted through several colors, his species equivalent of extreme shock. But that would mean. "Yes," Reed confirmed. "Reality isn't a stack of solid layers like you thought. It's more like a flowing river with many currents. We didn't need to break through. We just needed to learn how to swim." Torres suddenly straightened in his chair. "Commander, we're detecting massive energy spikes from several alien vessels. They're attempting to copy our dimensional sliding technique." Walker remained calm. "Let them try." On the external cameras, they could see several alien ships attempting to replicate the Infinity Edge's feat. But instead of sliding between dimensions, their ships shuddered violently as they tried to force their way through using brute power. "Stop," Reed shouted into the communication channel. "Your ships aren't designed for this. You can't just modify fifth-dimensional drives to do what we're doing. The entire engineering principle is different." The alien ships quickly powered down, some of them showing visible damage from their failed attempts. The high speaker's image returned, his silver face now bearing an expression that looked almost humble. "We do not understand," he admitted finally. "In 50,000 years of space travel, we never imagined, never even thought to look at dimensional travel this way. How did your young species see what we could not?" Walker stood up, facing the screen. "Because we didn't know it was impossible. Your civilizations were so certain about how dimensional travel worked that you stopped looking for alternatives. Humanity had no such preconceptions. We looked at the universe with fresh eyes and asked new questions." Reed added, "You tried to conquer dimensions. We tried to understand them. That made all the difference." The conference room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity hadn't just created a new type of ship. They had discovered a fundamental truth about reality that the older species had missed in their arrogance. "What happens now?" the high speaker asked quietly. Walker looked out at the alien fleet, then at his crew, then back to the screen. "Now we start learning from each other. Humanity is willing to share our discoveries, not with subjects or superiors, but with equals. The universe is vast, and there are still many mysteries to solve. Perhaps together, we can unlock the eighth dimension." The silence that followed wasn't filled with mocking laughter or dismissal, but with something new: respect. The galaxy was changing, and humanity had carved its place among the stars not through force, but through understanding. 1 week after the demonstration, Earth's orbital space was filled with alien ships. Not warships this time, but diplomatic vessels from every major species in the galaxy. The view from the International Space Station showed hundreds of ships in careful orbits, their designs as varied as the species that built them. Commander Walker stood in the newly constructed Galactic Embassy, looking out at the gathered fleet. Dr. Reed worked at a holographic display nearby, explaining basic quantum principles to a group of alien scientists. Their faces showed a mix of confusion and wonder as they struggled to unlearn 50,000 years of assumptions about dimensional travel. "It's like teaching quantum physics to Newton," Reed said during a break. "They're brilliant, but they have to forget everything they thought they knew first." Walker nodded, watching as more ships arrived in orbit. "How many species have requested technology sharing agreements now?" 37 as of this morning, Torres reported, walking in with his security tablet. "Including, surprisingly, the Ancient Ones." Their high speaker sent a personal message admitting that their civilization had grown stagnant through pride. A small crystal ship descended through the atmosphere, its surface catching sunlight like a rainbow. The Shell Collective's representatives had arrived for their scheduled meeting. Walker straightened his uniform. "They're not here to mock us anymore," Reed said with a slight smile. "No," Walker agreed. "Now they're here to learn. And hopefully, to teach as well." The meeting room filled with representatives from a dozen species. The high speaker sat quietly in one corner, his silver skin dulled with what his species considered a mark of humility. The Shell Collective's crystalline forms chimed softly as they moved, their previous arrogance replaced by genuine curiosity. "We have reviewed the basic principles you shared," one of the Shell Collective spoke, their voice creating harmonics in the air. "Our greatest scientists agree. We never considered quantum uncertainty as a means of dimensional translation. We were too focused on forcing our way through." The high speaker rose. "The Ancient Ones wish to formally apologize for our dismissal of human potential. Our long history became a burden rather than an advantage. We stopped looking for new ideas, convinced that we had found all the answers." Walker raised his hand. "No apologies are needed. Instead, let's talk about the future. Humanity's achievement doesn't mark the end of discovery. It's just the beginning." Reed activated a large holographic display, showing the Infinity Edge's dimensional drive. "We've already identified several areas where your species' experience could help us improve the technology. Your understanding of fifth-dimensional physics, combined with our new approach, could lead to even greater breakthroughs." The alien scientists moved closer to the display, their earlier hesitation forgotten in the excitement of new discovery. Questions flew back and forth, theories were proposed and debated, and the room buzzed with the energy of genuine collaboration. Outside, more ships arrived hourly. Some carried scientists eager to learn, others brought diplomats ready to establish new relations with Earth. The planet that had been mocked as a backwater world just weeks ago was now the center of a galactic renaissance. "We're getting reports from all over the galaxy," Torres said, checking his updates. "The news of our demonstration is spreading. Even species that never joined the Galactic Council are reaching out. They want to be part of this." Walker watched as human and alien scientists worked together, sharing ideas and challenging old assumptions. This was humanity's true victory, not just proving their capability, but opening a door to cooperation that would benefit all species. "The Ancient Ones ruled through power," he said quietly. "They demanded respect and obedience, but humanity will lead through innovation and collaboration. We'll earn respect by sharing knowledge, not hoarding it." Reed looked up from her work with the alien scientists. "They're already starting to think differently." One of the Shell Collective just proposed a theory about ninth-dimensional space that completely breaks from their traditional models. They're learning to question everything they thought they knew. The sun set over Earth, its light reflecting off the fleet of diplomatic ships in orbit. Humanity had changed the galaxy not through conquest or force, but through understanding and innovation. The laughter had stopped, replaced by something far more valuable: respect, cooperation, and the shared excitement of new discovery. 6 months after the demonstration of the Infinity Edge, the face of the galaxy had changed forever. The massive shipyards around Neptune had transformed into an interstellar research center where vessels of all shapes and sizes tested new theories about dimensional travel. The laughter that once filled the Galactic Council chamber was replaced by the excited chatter of shared discovery. Commander Walker stood on the observation deck of humanity's new dimensional research station, watching as the second human seventh-dimensional ship, the Star Dreamer, prepared for its maiden voyage. Below him, Dr. Reed was giving a lecture to a mixed group of human and alien scientists. The key was never about power, she explained, manipulating a complex hologram. It was about understanding. The universe doesn't resist our passage through dimensions. We just needed to learn its dance. Torres entered the room, his security uniform now bearing both Earth's flag and the new symbol of the Galactic Science Coalition. "Commander, you're going to want to see this." They walked to the main research lab, where a team of human and shell collective scientists were running a simulation. The crystalline aliens had proven to be humanity's most enthusiastic students, their natural ability to think in geometric patterns helping them grasp the new concepts quickly. "We've done it," one of the shell collective scientists chimed excitedly. "By combining our crystal lattice technology with your quantum uncertainty principles, we found a theoretical path to the 8th dimension." Walker watched the simulation run, showing a new type of ship that could slide even further between the layers of reality. "How long until we can build it?" "A year, maybe less," Reed said, joining them at the display. "The Ancient Ones have offered their shipyards for the construction. Their metallurgy skills are still unmatched, even if their theoretical physics needed updating." The High Speaker himself had become a regular visitor to the station, his initial shock at humanity's achievement transformed into genuine enthusiasm for new discoveries. His species' long experience, combined with humanity's fresh perspective, had already led to dozens of breakthroughs. "Did you ever imagine this?" Torres asked, gesturing at the busy station filled with beings from across the galaxy. 6 months ago, they were trying to sabotage us. Now they're our closest research partners." Walker smiled, remembering the mocking laughter in the council chamber. "We gave them something better than power. We gave them wonder." Humans never lost the ability to be amazed by the universe. Through the station's windows, they could see the Infinity Edge in its dock. The ship that had changed everything now served as both a research platform and a symbol of what was possible when old assumptions were challenged. "New report from the frontier stations," Torres said, checking his tablet. 3 more species have requested to join the coalition. They're bringing their own theories about dimensional travel, different perspectives we never considered." Reed nodded excitedly. "That's the beauty of it. Every species sees the universe slightly differently. Together, we're building a more complete picture than any of us could achieve alone." A massive screen showed hundreds of research projects happening simultaneously across the galaxy. Some explored new dimensions, others focused on practical applications of the technology. The Shell Collective had already adapted the principles to create more efficient crystal growth chambers. The Ancient Ones were rebuilding their cities using 7th-dimensional architecture. "Humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy wasn't the technology," Walker said, watching all the activity. "It was permission to dream again, to question, to wonder what if." As if to emphasize his point, a group of young aliens rushed past, excitedly discussing a new theory with their human colleagues. Their species had been bitter enemies for centuries before the demonstration. Now they worked together, united by curiosity and the thrill of discovery. The Star Dreamer's engines hummed to life, preparing for its first journey. But this time, there was no mocking laughter, no dismissive comments about human capabilities. Instead, ships from every species in the coalition formed an honor guard, their lights creating a pathway through space. "Ready the eighth-dimensional prototype," Walker ordered. "It's time to show the galaxy that humanity's greatest adventure is just beginning." As the Star Dreamer slid gracefully between dimensions, Walker thought about how far they'd come. The galaxy had learned that true power didn't come from age or arrogance, but from the courage to see things differently. Humanity had earned its place among the stars not by conquering them, but by understanding them. And somewhere in the vast darkness of space, new dimensions waited to be explored, new mysteries to be solved, by species working together in ways they had never imagined possible.